welcome you back to San Antonio. Great to have you with us for Game 2 of our doubleheader, the national semifinal. Dave O'Brien alongside Doris Burke. Doris, we just watched Stanford really hold off a great rally by Oklahoma and win. Oklahoma gave them all they could handle down the stretch, but is that a team in Stanford you can see knocking off Connecticut if it gets that far?
I think if Connecticut stays true to what has defined them during this streak and throughout the course of their history, the stifling defense that does not foul, the precision offense dominated by the two best players in the country and a terrific supporting cast, they won't lose. Somebody's going to have to go take it from them and beat them.
Let's take it to Star Watch here for the second national semifinal. We go inside the paint, and Griner and Charles.
1 year ago, Brittany Griner was a 6'8" dunking YouTube sensation. She is now a star in college basketball, wreaking havoc with that length and athleticism, sending shots back from her opponents with great regularity. She will face the most dominant and consistent center in college basketball on both ends. Tina Charles, a player of the year, is going to get into her chest all night long. It'll be a heck of a matchup.
Well, the Huskies coached by the six-time national champion Gino Auriemma. He's been carrying around one of John Wooden's books for weeks, and he says for some reason the state case. Time now for the Capital One starting lineup. Let's meet the UConn Huskies.
I'm Caroline Doty. I grew up like a triplet with a twin brother and a brother a year younger. And I'm our team's three-point ace.
I'm Tiffany Hayes, and I love peanut M&Ms. And I got the quickest first step you will ever see.
I'm Clayton Green, and I love to dance. And I'm a lockdown defender. I'm Maya Moore, and my favorite music artist is Canton Jones. And I'm a three-time All-American. I'm Tina Charles, and I'm Daddy's little girl. And I'm a product of hard work.
Let's bring in Rebecca Lobo covering UConn, Holly Rowe covering Baylor. Rebecca?
Dave, if you like watching post matchups, it does not get any better than Tina Charles versus Brittany Griner. These are the two most dominant centers in women's college basketball. Tina has the experience. This is her third straight Final Four. She was the MVP of the championship last season. Griner is the freshman, the best one in the country, who plays like no other woman we have ever seen. What intrigues me is that I think this is going to be a true one-on-one matchup. I don't think either coach is going to send a lot of help defensively. If you love head-to-head battles, it doesn't get much bigger or much better than Charles versus Griner. And the way those two are officiated will be very important. For more on that, I'll send it to Holly Rowe.
Well, Rebecca, I checked in with the national supervisor official to see what we might expect tonight from the officials with the post play. She said there's three main elements. Mary Struckoff said first, look for jostling for position. That's okay. It can get physical unless one player displaces another. Then if one gets the ball and is an offensive threat, the principle of verticality comes into play. Players get away with this all the time. Their arms might be straight up, but they're pushing them with their bodies, so watch for that. And then on the rebounds, she said we are looking for holding, clamping, stuff that is a non-basketball play. But keep in mind, Tina Charles hasn't fouled out of a game since her freshman year, and Brittany Griner's fouled out just once this season. These are two smart post players. Now, let's get to know the Baylor Lady Bears.
I'm Kelly Griffin, and my teammates call me KG. And I lead my team in assists.
I'm Shanae Washington. I'm from Austin, Texas. And I'm a guard you for 40 minutes.
I'm Melissa Jones, and I'm a Christian. And I'm fearless and not afraid to hit the ground.
I'm Morgan Medlock, and I like to shop. And I'm a nightmare on the glass.
I'm Brittany Griner, and I love bacon. And I'm the National Freshman of the Year.
Well, she sure is that on behalf of Kim Mulkey, the Baylor head coach, participating in her 12th Final Four. 3 as a player, 7 as an assistant, 2 as a head coach, and Mulkey has won 3 NCAA championships along the way in those various roles. A big crowd here inside the Alamo Dome, and they saw a game that came down to the last several possessions between Stanford and Oklahoma, despite the Cardinal building up an 18-point lead in the second half.
The resiliency of Oklahoma has been evident throughout, but the Cardinals survive Nneka Ogwumike emerged as a star in college basketball. She put 20 points on 8 of 10 shooting against Connecticut. Will She face them on Tuesday night? We're 40 minutes away from finding out.
Connecticut, winners of an NCAA record 76 consecutive games in the white. Griner and Charles in the middle. And a rebound controlled by Connecticut in Caroline Doty. Baylor coming in 27-9. Connecticut 37-0. These are the top 2 defensive teams in the country. Hayes with the drive and rolls it in right by Griner.
Well, one of the things Coach Auriemma talked to his people about, in particular Tina Charles, he said, you get into the chest of a shot blocker. Tiffany Hayes is a 6'8" brother. She's played against it before.
Shanae Washington with a bucket in the paint. Quickly ties it at 2.
The freshmen for Baylor throughout the course of the tournament have played with a pace and a composure beyond their years. Can they do it again?
Maya Moore, dead on from 3.
She has been on fire, folks, and getting Connecticut off to terrific starts throughout the course of the NCAA tournament. And Connecticut comes a little 2-2-1 pressure.
Well, Melissa Jones told you when she introduced herself in the lineup she doesn't mind hitting the deck, and did quickly.
Tiffany Hayes goes right at 6'8", and so often Brittany Griner has said this exact kind of shot back at her. No shy away by Tiffany Hayes. You got 2 terrific competitors in Hayes and Doty in the backcourt for Connecticut.
Doty just picked up the foul. Jones, the blue for the Lady Bears, although missed a ton of time to an injury. Medlock underneath and missed the bunny.
You can see Connecticut, multiple white jerseys. Brittany is a willing and capable passer.
Ford gives it up for Hayes. Another hard drive and a foul. Brittany Griner going for the block, but got a lot of arm there.
Now, one of your biggest concerns of your Kim Mulkey is how is this game officiated? She goes right at the body. And what you want to do is every time as an offensive player force that official to make a decision. Is it a foul on the offense or is it a foul on the defense? And in that particular instance, foul on the defense.
Tiffany Hayes, the sophomore out of Lakeland, Florida. She and Caroline Doty, the 2 sophomores, have never lost a game while playing for Gino Auriemma at Connecticut. Never known what a loss felt like. Hayes coming off a strong performance against Florida State. This is the second one. UConn by 4. Baylor, the number 4 seed. It's the first time they've met Connecticut.
You can see Tina Charles doing her best to get Brittany Griner off the block.
Griner coming out high now. Harassed by Charles. Shot clock down to 10. Griner, double team. Washington lifts. That's off target. Maya Moore snatching the rebound. Round the back move by Hayes. Lost it. Gave it up to Kelly Griffin. Here's the point guard for the Lady Bears to shoot.
So one and done. Brittany Griner is yet to be a force on the offensive end of the floor. She will see a ton of attention. Connecticut worked very hard on every player in a white jersey, giving a little bit of assistance.
For Connecticut, the 11th trip in school history to the Final Four. And they've won 6 national titles.
This is the end where I think they've got to make some things happen.
But Jones was wide open all by herself. Couldn't cash in. Doty on the attack. The sophomore scoops it up and a traveling violation. It'll go back over to Baylor. And we have a quick timeout here with 17:28 to go. Gino all grins, kind of like a Cheshire Cat over there. Connecticut looking for another quick start in the tournament.
Now, Maya Moore has actually had more points in the tournament than she's played minutes. She has been the trigger point. She and teammate Tina Charles has split virtually every Player of the Year award this season.
Look inside that 76-game winning streak, the NCAA record. Of course, Connecticut previously with a 70-game win streak. They have spent all of 3 minutes 37 seconds trailing the second half. Smallest margin of victory, 10. That happened twice. 43 consecutive weeks at number 1. That's a record. and 104 weeks since they last tasted a defeat.
So for Coach Auriemma, 0.2% of the time, 0.2% of the time you have trailed in the second half. If you're Baylor, you want to put them there and see how they react.
Baylor throws it away. Maya Moore in control of the basketball here. Hayes on the baseline with a quick step. Fires it back into the corner. Moore finds Charles in the lane. A fall away. Harassed by Griner. No question, Brittany Griner made her change that shot.
Yeah, and Shanae Washington has gotten out of the gates quickly. Good, strong board there against a Connecticut team that dominates with their rebounding.
Kim Mulkey said this week, I don't care how good UConn is, one day they will lose.
Well, that's a coach who was part of a 54-game winning streak in her own right as a player at Louisiana Tech when they were the dominant program.
Medlock, shot clock down to 3. Jones driving in, shot clock at 1. It was knocked away, and Connecticut comes up with the ball. 16 and a half minutes to go in the half. Great feed for Moore underneath. Doty with a terrific look.
Well, they're terrific defensively, no question. It's the reason they've won 6 national titles, Connecticut. They'll put as much pressure on you with their ability to get in transition and score as they do with their defense.
Maya Moore with 5 of Connecticut's 8. Shot clock inside 10 again. Griner turns, draws the foul. And Brittany Griner, not a bad foul shooter at all at 69%, will go to the line.
Caroline Doty and Tiffany Hayes both have the option to get in the transition opportunity and handle the basketball. A terrific job to keep her head up and put the pass right where Maya Moore can simply catch and score it.
Griner fouled by Charles. Tina Charles with her first personal. And the freshman in and out with that one. She has blocked an NCAA tournament record 35 shots in the first 4 games of this tournament, including 14 against Georgetown, 10 against Tennessee. 218 blocks this season by herself, which is an NCAA record. Green off to Moore, launches a long one and buries the 3.
Folks, you better put the fire out early because she will bring the fire when she comes. This is the most well-rounded, diverse offensive player in the country, and Maya Moore in Connecticut goes zone now.
Well, after she made her first shot, pumping her fist, she looked even more inspired than normal. That should be terrifying for Baylor. And a traveling violation on Nene Hayden. 3rd turnover for Baylor.
Connecticut runs on you. They put these spurts, and you've got to be able to respond. And a lot of times in the NCAA tournament, it's been triggered by Maya Moore. 6'1" junior who is the most well-rounded, gifted offensive player in the country. From 3, oh yeah, she can do that. In transition, you can do that too. You better check her from 3, Dave, or it's going to be a long, long night.
Fall here in Texas. Connecticut with the 8-point lead early. Well, history certainly on Connecticut's side. Each of the previous 5 teams to enter a Final Four undefeated went on to win the national title. And of course, a huge part of that. Hayes with a long one and the foul. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, Kim Mulkey frustrated with her defense in transition. They're sending 3 to the boards and 2 defensive backs. She made it sure that they know who is supposed to be back because Maya Moore's been getting loose. Then on offense, she's frustrated that they're standing around. Melissa Jones is on the bench because she was standing around in that zone. She wants posts that will flash.
Jordan Madden just committed the foul. Hayes finds an open lane but can't bank it in. Griner trying to keep her footing but draws the foul as Hayes got tangled up right around the feet of Brittany Griner.
Well, you see Tiffany Hayes is willing to go at the body of Brittany Griner and attack. I think it's a good no call, and you got to call a trip because it results in a turnover there, or it would have resulted in a turnover.
As mentioned, her 6'8" brother Jerron said, if you can score on me, you can score on Brittany Griner. See how tough that is the rest of the way. Baylor with the ball. Griffin way out high.
Yeah, Connecticut in the zone. Again, the challenge for Baylor, and it has been all season, they're spotty offensively. A lot of times the shot clock's so late, and look at another turnover.
Off Griner's hands, 4 turnovers. Doty lines up a long one. A Battle for the weak side rebound, and Hayden comes away.
I do think that Doty and Hayes are playing a little bit too fast.
Now Hayden is going to draw the foul, although she's a little bit out of control. ESPN, ESPN2, Major League Baseball coming your way. Opening day on Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern. It's the Cardinals and the Reds at 2 on ESPN2. The Indians and the White Sox. And the Cubs and the Braves at 4 o'clock Eastern.
Well, interesting here because that's the second personal foul on Caroline Doty. So at the scorer's table waiting to come in is Kelly Farris.
Farris, who has had back-to-back fine games in this tournament, a 5'11" freshman, and Doty has to step out.
I feel like Connecticut's bench has slowly but surely come along throughout the course of this season. Farris can be a mistake-free player for you.
Really shooting it particularly well from beyond the three-point line. Ane Hayden, the freshman herself, connects. Doty's still wondering why she picked up that second one. And Tiffany Hayes will bring it across.
These are the best two defensive teams in the country, but a lot of defenses don't have an answer for that young woman right there.
Yep, probably the best player in the country. Just took home her second Wade Trophy award. No one has ever won 3 as the player of the year, which includes academics and community service as part of your athletic accomplishments. And she only carries a 3.9 GPA. Hayden swerving in, but it will not fall. Trying to keep it alive, and does.
You love how hard Baylor is playing right now. All the 50-50 balls have got to be theirs if they're going to win this basketball game. They're not as gifted offensively as Connecticut, so those plays have got to be theirs.
Hayden traveling. Maya Moore lighting it up early, but she is, of course, a 2-time National Player of the Year.
No, she is a special athlete who is a gifted basketball player as well. Just going to constantly move her feet, gets to the rim. The defender was sealed high, so she dove right to the box, put the target hand up, and demanded the basketball into double digits already.
Off the fake behind a screen. Try to dump it back off for Charles, and she has it knocked out of her hands. Jones is back in. Jones lays it up and draws the foul as well.
There is no fear in a young Baylor basketball team. They reflect the toughness and competitive spirit of their coach. And Melissa Jones is invaluable. Excellent read in transition. Nobody stopped basketball for Connecticut. She attacked the 10.
Farris with a late reach to commit the foul. Jones, an 82% foul shooter. Very smart, savvy, unselfish player. Missed a big chunk of the season to a stress reaction in her right leg, but when she starts, they're 16-1.
That's exactly right. The reason they got out of the gate slowly is because she got hurt right before the start of the Big 12.
Moore with a floater. Oh, what a pretty shot.
Oh, my goodness. And if you're Kim Mulkey, you're sitting there saying, if we're going to get beat on tough shots like that by Maya Moore, as long as my guys compete, I'm okay with it.
She scores 22 in this game. She ties Rebecca Lobo for 6th place on UConn's all-time scoring list, and she already has 12. Griffin looking for room. Looking at that zone. Shot clock down to 5. And they throw it away. 6 turnovers for Baylor and mounting.
Now, Maya Moore is a special player. Coach Oriema used to say, I've got Diana Taurasi and nobody else does. Now he's got Maya and nobody else does. The crossover off one leg floater from inside the free throw line.
And we saw Nneka Ogwumike just light up Oklahoma. Great backdoor pass there and an easy deuce for Green. She had 38. Maya is on the way to the similar kind of night. Look at Mulkey stare down Madden as the freshman walks by.
I like to call her Maya Magnificent. And again, just as she has done throughout the course of the tournaments, in fewer minutes she's got more points. And Baylor Lady Bears have absolutely no answer for the 6'1" junior. Pick and roll. She decides to pull the trigger because if you come up slow off that screen, forget about it, folks. In transition, she's got blazing speed and unbelievable athleticism. And the prettiest jump shot in college basketball is right there.
Well, she's been doing it, Doris, throughout this tournament, scoring 10 or more in the first 7 minutes in every NCAA tournament game so far as we go to Rebecca.
Guys, Maya Moore has been in a zone this entire NCAA tournament, and Coach Auriemma made a conscious effort to start coaching her a little bit differently once the tournament started. He said, Maya is great when she just plays. She gets into trouble when she thinks. During the regular season, he gets on her about every little mistake she makes. In the tournament, he's been letting them go. He just wants her to play freely, and it's obviously been working the last 4+ games.
And I'll go back to something Diana Taurasi told me. She said, we feel like from October 15th through the end of February, we're the worst team in the country, and when March 1st rolls around, we feel unbeatable.
Jones off to Condrey. Taryn Condrey, not a youngster, just a sophomore, and a very young Baylor team, and that's going to be a double dribble. So 7 turnovers for the number 4 seed. Maya Moore cooking early in this national semifinal. The Wade Trophy winner playing like it here against Baylor. Lovely night here in San Antonio. UConn on top, 17-8 over Baylor. And let's go inside the play, Doris.
One of the things Connecticut worked on was the pick and roll. Baylor worked on defending, and in this particular instance, Tina Charles will set the screen for Maya Moore. The defender runs flat into the screen, and if you get hung up, look out. And this is simply a guard this particular instance. Tiffany Hayes, a little handoff pass, crossover leading to that. They've got to do a better job defending those 2 particular things.
Brittany Griner so far just 1 point and 4 offensive touches. She has yet to officially block a shot. Connecticut moving it so well. They have 7 baskets off 5 assists. That is no shock. Charles lines one up. Griner tried for it and whiffed on it.
Yeah, and this is something that Tina Charles can do. Pull you away, and you can see how much arc she had to put on that shot because Griner's challenge, boy, she is almost at the release point of that shot.
And Charles buried it anyway, 19-8. Condrey for Griner. Tried to bank it, no. Moore with the rebound. And wide open Charles, and beating everybody down the floor. This is a great problem that Kim Mulkey talked about in practice today, Doris.
Yeah, and Griner doesn't want to, go over the top and commit the foul, and that's why Tina Charles' ability to sprint the floor harder than any other player in the country on every possession leads to baskets for Connecticut.
Back inside for Griner. Tough bank, no. Moore handles the ball. Green back to Ferris. And we'll kick it back out for Hayes. Connecticut in command early, 21-8. The hook off the window. Tina Charles.
Yeah, nice job to go right into her chest. Use the bounce, get Brittany Griner reacting to what you want to do. And that was what Gino Auriemma said. He said, nobody's asking how Brittany Griner is going to deal with Tina Charles and Maya Moore.
One-hander, it's in and out by Jones. Shots not falling here for Baylor. UConn hitting 67%, sizzling early. Maya inside for 2 more.
Now you wonder if Kim's going to use a timeout, and this is something that Kara Lawson touched on. She was masterful against Tennessee on many runs of using those timeouts. She used one just before a TV timeout, not using one here.
Griner gets that one to go. So her first bucket.
She had to work for it, and the strategy obviously is make her shoot over the top of Tina Charles.
Charles dribbling hard, swings and draws the foul. Griner trying to deny, but finding it very tough to do. Melissa Jones, however, picks up the foul.
Tina Charles is the all-time leading scorer at Connecticut. This is a phase of the game she has added during the course of her career. This is what she has done better than anybody in the country all season long. Rim run as fast as she possibly can.
In and out with the first one. Tina Charles, the Associated Press Player of the Year, Big East Player of the Year, UConn's all-time scoring and rebounding leader.
Took her a long time, I think, Dave, to understand exactly how much potential she had. She told Coach Auriemma, I want to win national championships and be the best center in college basketball. And he said, are you sure you want me to take you through that process?
Well, she has arrived this season without question and just turned into a great, great player. Griner draws a lot of attention. Good feed from Madden and a foul. Something else that Brittany Griner has improved markedly on is looking for the open man out of those double and triple teams.
No question. She is a willing passer and understands. I'll tell you this, she's not been playing basketball all that long, but the feel she has is different and better than you would expect for somebody so young to the game.
Hayes fouling Nene Hayden, a freshman from Dallas. And one of Baylor's 5 freshmen have accounted for 51% of their scoring. Of course, Griner right in the middle of that.
It's a team that's going to be good for a long time, Baylor.
Sure are. Great recruiting class coming in. They're still so young. Griner, a freshman. Shanae Washington, Hayden, Madden, all freshmen. Connecticut on top 26-12.
And now they'll take a look at a Baylor zone.
Lauren Dixon now running the point. Maya catches, fires, and rolls away. Charles the rebound.
Nice job by Kelly Farris, who's come in and played outstanding basketball, mistake-free basketball since Doty picked up the 2 fouls.
Moore, long one of 3, off balance. That didn't touch anything. Farris on the line. It'll go back over to Baylor. One of the few awkward moments you're ever going to see there from the balletic Maya Moore, the junior from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Baylor trying to play catch-up. You never want to be there against the UConn Huskies. The entry for Griner. Nice leaning back shot.
Yeah, that's a terrific job to stay patient now. If you check her one-on-one, Kim Mulkey said, I hope Gino Auriemma lets to check you one-on-one. That's twice now. He's done it, and she scored.
Moore short with it. Rebound comes to Griner. And now you feel a little momentum swing over the last minute or 2.
No question. And one of the things they've done is gotten into Connecticut's bench.
Shanae Washington. Freshman passing to the freshman Griner. Shot clock under 10 for the Lady Bears. Washington trying to get around Hayes, and Hayes blocks and fouls her. And that is going to be her 3rd foul.
Wow, this is something Connecticut does well. The top 2 defensive teams in the country are playing tonight. Usually UConn doesn't foul. Brittany Griner is unlike anything they've ever seen. 6'8", just a solid move to the rim. Tina Charles, nothing you can do. Welcome back to San Antonio. Our Star Watch features the most 2 dominant centers in the country. They are squaring off head-to-head, many times one-on-one. Tina Charles has got 7 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. A chain shot there by Griner. A tough jump shot with a hand in the face. Griner, a tough shot shooting over the top of Tina Charles, just standing behind and making her shoot over. Then she sprints the floor end-to-end. Griner a little bit late. Griner's got 5 points, 2 rebounds, and this is a matchup we have been dying to see.
Meanwhile, Baylor already into the 1-1. So that's 7 fouls by Connecticut.
That's significant. Connecticut is the best defensive team in the country by field goal percentage and points allowed. They are also #1 in terms of committing the fewest fouls. And it hasn't come against Griner. They're fouling other people.
They are. Farris outside. They get it back to her. Too strong. Digging for the rebound. More collision with Jones as it's knocked out of bounds. With 7:29 to go. Let's check in with Rebecca.
Well, guys, we've seen Brittany Griner come alive a little bit offensively, and it's because she's gotten much better positioning on the block. And Coach Auriemma addressed that with Tina Charles, said, you can't let her get that deep. You've got to beat her to the spot and push her up the lane. And then he said, offensively, we need better movement against the zone doors. Look for some screens up high and then dives to the basket.
Moore lets fly. That 3 will go in. Or is it a 2? Yeah, she's on the line. They called it a 2.
That's an effective zone buster right there. Maya Moore with a jump shot. And we've got 5-0 Rebecca Lobo, All-American on our side. 95 national champion, undefeated. I know she's been looking forward to this matchup.
Well, we all have been. The entry now again for Griner, and that's exactly where she wants it.
Well, and that's exactly what Rebecca's point is. And the challenge for Tina Charles is how do you prevent that low post position? Because Griner's release point is too high for Tina Charles to contest that shot.
Moore patrolling that baseline, swishes home 2.
I tell you what, we watched her shoot around this morning, and Coach Emma was needling her a bit. Oh, Maya's so pretty. She's so good. But guess what? She is.
18 on 8 for 12 shooting for the All-American. Griner again has very good touch from that point into the basket. A foul, 6:31 to go. A foul here against Baylor, and that'll be on Morgan Medlock, her first. Well, number 4 seed has never won this tournament. Baylor at the 4, trying to become the lowest seed ever to win a national title, but has to go through Connecticut to make it happen. Stanford is into the championship game. They beat Oklahoma earlier tonight. The hook, yes, for Charles.
One of the things you can do to negate a shot blocker is go right into her chest. Don't allow her any space. A lot of Brittany Griner's record-setting blocks are coming when it's away from her body. And Tina is doing her best to stay attached contact-wise.
Hayden finds Griffin out high. Under 6 minutes here in the first half. Medlock trying to go up against Charles. That was very well done.
Yeah, Morgan Medlock has been a crucial component to their ability to get exactly here in San Antonio.
Caroline Doty back into the contest, bouncing here for Charles. Backing into Griner. Another hook, but this one spits out. And a good-looking shot when it left her hand. Of course, with Brittany Griner in the paint, Baylor leads the nation with over 7.5 blocks a game. She gets 6. She has 1 block so far in the first half. Griner draws all the white shirt. Shot clock at 5. She gets it back. Turns to the basket. No. Caroline Doty, a dangerous three-point shooter when she gets going. Farris with a good decision to get it to Moore. On Griner and the block. Number 2 for the 6'8 freshman. 32-18. Griner misses. Rebound loose on the deck. Griner went down. And now it's 5-on-4. Intended for Maya Moore. Batted away by Baylor. Griffin off to Hayden. And a foul on the play. She'll go to the line.
Well, Rebecca Lobo, we have talked all night long about Tina Charles wanting to attack the body of Brittany Griner. What are you seeing?
Well, she's going right at her. And as a shot blocker, what you need more than anything is space, because it allows you to get extension and get up and have the space to block that shot. When the offensive player goes right into her, it takes away that space. Maya Moore wasn't able to get that leverage, didn't get into Griner's chest. Therefore, Griner got the extension and could block the shot. That's the difference, Doris.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things Shea Ralph, the assistant coach from UConn, noticed was how many of Brittany Griner's blocks come when those arms are extended. And exactly what Rebecca's talking about. There's space between her and the offensive player. Connecticut drilled it into their heads today. You want to go right at her body.
Yeah, looking for contact. Of course, it's an 88-inch wingspan. Well, the lead to 12. Charles against Griner. The hook again. No. Rebound tipped and Griner controls. Now, Connecticut number 1 in the country in field goal percentage defense. The number 2 team in the nation is the Baylor Lady Bears.
Somebody's got to give her some help on the offensive end, Brittany Griner.
Medlock trying to create her own shot. No, Charles snatches the rebound. Farris weaving in, changed her shot. Griner made her do it.
Again, there have been a few instances where I think Connecticut playing a little bit faster offensively, maybe rushing some things.
3.5 minutes to go in the half. Knocked away by Green. She stole it from Griner. Maya Moore quickly draws a lot of attention defensively.
Good job. You got to take away their transition. I mean, so many times Connecticut spot up 3 by Maya Moore in transition.
Green feeding Charles. The hook once more, and those shots are not falling. She's missed 3 in a row.
Yeah, no question. She continues to go right at the chest of Brittney Griner. Does she get frustrated, or does she continue to shoot those shots?
Griner now, and gets the bucket. Has 9 points.
Anytime she gets deep low post position, she is putting Tina Charles in a position where there's no answer.
Doty, very early in the shot clock.
Do you see what I mean? It's as though they're trying to put them away quickly.
That's a travel against Baylor as Washington could not keep her footing. Well, Connecticut's 2 best players. Most will tell you the 2 best players in the country. Connecticut up 10 over the Baylor Lady Bears here in San Antonio. And coming up on the Home Depot halftime report, Tara Vanderveer will be live on the set, the Stanford head coach. With our gang, Stanford is into the national championship game on Tuesday, and also a first-half breakdown of Baylor and UConn. Doris Burke, Dave O'Brien, Rebecca Lobo, and Holly Rowe with you here from the Alamo Dome. Caroline Doty, sophomore from Doylestown, Pennsylvania, controlling the ball here. Maya Moore already with 18. Looking for some more. Drains the 3. 21 for Moore. Eka Agumake came up with 38 for Stanford in Game 1 over Oklahoma in a sensational performance.
Just seems like everything on the offensive end comes so much easier for Connecticut than it does for Baylor.
Medlock in close, and it rattles home.
Yeah, and they've got to get scoring assistance from somebody other than Brittney Griner, or those white jerseys are going to be all around number 42 in black.
Doty calling out a play. Charles gets it.
It does a couple of things. It draws Brittney Griner away from the backboards in case she misses that shot, allows for some offensive rebounding. But she'll have to continue to check that jump shot by Tina.
13-point lead back into a comfort zone. Traveling is Griner, and she'll give it back as we check in with Holly Rowe.
Guys, during that last Baylor timeout, Brittney Griner came to the bench and she was frustrated and a little bit overwhelmed. She wanted to get out of the game. She kept saying, I'm out, I'm out. She was frustrated with Coach Barmore's arm around her. Kim Mulkey said, we can't have you out. We need you right now. We can get this down to 10. She kept saying, Coach, I'm out, I'm out. Kim finally said, look, they're as tired as you are. Get back out there. And she did.
One of the hardest things for freshmen to do in college basketball, Holly Rowe, is fight through fatigue.
There's a block shot by Griner. Got a piece of that one. Looking for another. And a foul instead with 54 seconds to go. I venture to say it's not the first time a freshman has asked out in the first half against Connecticut.
Well, I don't think there's any question. And I think the thing that they don't understand is that they have another level. And you wonder, is this a foul of fatigue? She gets the first one clean. It's the second time. It was Connecticut's ability to keep the board alive.
Actually, they gave that foul to Melissa Jones and not Griner.
Wow.
So a little bit of a surprise there. Jones with her second. So Baylor may have picked up a little bit of a break.
Well, the thing is, now Brittney Griner, she has had equal blocks throughout the course of this tournament on her own player and coming into weak side help. Tina Charles has been productive, and so she's drawing a lot of Brittney Griner's attention. And that's why you've seen fewer blocks.
Farris on Griffin. Jones trying to become a factor in this one. A reach and a foul. Looks like it might be on Kalana Green. Kalana Green, the 5'10 senior, number 1 on her. 39-24. And it'll be Medlock to the line. And don't forget to tune into ESPN Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern for our NCAA Women's Championship special, followed by the National Championship game. We know Stanford is in. Stanford's only loss all season came in Hartford, Connecticut to the Huskies back in December.
Very competitive first half. Stanford, in fact, had the 2-point advantage. And Jane Appel was not 100% healthy, nor would she be if they square off Tuesday night. That bulky right ankle remains swollen, but she was productive nonetheless in the first semifinal.
Timeout, Gino Auriemma. Our first half star certainly has been Maya Moore, the 3-time All-American.
Well, how'd you like to have the best 2 players in the country at your disposal? This off the screen and roll. The defender gets hung up on the screen. She makes her pay. She sprints in transition, uses the athleticism not to even give him a chance to react. She is deadly from 3-point range. The prettiest jump shot in college basketball. I'll tell you this. Maya Moore goes from a dead sprint to straight up vertical and releasing that jump shot as well as any woman I've ever seen.
Look at the points to minutes throughout this tournament. Pretty amazing, and already 21 points in 19 minutes tonight.
I can't remember exactly how Carol Lawson phrased it. I think she said she strikes the match. And it was the perfect, I thought, analogy because, I mean, she just lights the fire and everybody else around her. The intensity level, the reason Connecticut has been able to put together back-to-back 70-game win streaks is because this team plays hard on every single possession, regardless of score, regardless of time in the basketball game.
Gino Auriemma said this week, we don't crack open the champagne just for showing up at Connecticut. You got to earn it. Green to Doty, trying to penetrate down the lane. Charles battling for the rebound, a scrum for it, a tie-up. The possession arrow will be Baylor's with 6 seconds to go. So the Lady Bears will have a crack at it here before the break for Kim Mulkey.
Yeah, Coach Auriemma wants to push up because there's 6 seconds left. Wants to make sure they use some clock coming up the floor.
So bringing up Dixon and Moore. 3 seconds. Hayden nearly lost it and does travel with it eventually. With 0.9 on the clock, they've turned it over 11 times in the first half.
13-point advantage, but every possession matters. This game is far from over.
The count of it goes, but it's past everything. And Connecticut has a firm control of this one, leading 39-26 at halftime over the Lady Bears of Baylor. Let's go to Holly with Kim Mulkey.
Coach, you have so many players. It's their first big experience in a stage like this. How do you think they reacted in the first half?
Like you expect freshmen to do. They're trying really hard, Holly, and we're playing against 2 great players in UConn. Maya Moore, she scores so effortlessly at will, and we've thrown several players at her to try to defend her, and she just elevates right in your face. I thought going to the zone a little bit right there helped us a little bit, and also going to the, I don't want to call it a diamond in one, but we're trying to guard Maya with one player and the rest of them zone up a little bit.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, with about 2.5 minutes to go in the half, you lit into Tina and Maya pretty good. What were you frustrated about with their performance?
Well, I don't think there's any complaints about our offense. You know, we've got 39 points, but at this end, I mean, it's layups and fouls. I mean, that's just not very smart on our end. If we can get them to take a shot other than a layup or a free throw, we got a chance to win this game, you know, but you can't win if you keep putting them on the free throw line and keep giving up layups.
All right, Coach, thank you.
And he leads by 13 in the national semifinal. He can always find something. That's part of UConn's greatness. 21 points from Maya Moore in the first half, along with 6 rebounds. And Tina Charles with 13 points. The 2 stars leading the way. Connecticut up 39-26 as we send it to Trey Wingo. 9-26. Dave O'Brien and Doris Burke with you. Doris, Holly Rowe told us that Brittany Griner asked out at one point, but midway through the first half, the pace was too much, but she played all 20 minutes.
Well, and Connecticut mixed things up defensively, trying to keep her off balance. The double teams coming from different spots when they elected to come with a double team. When it came from the other side of the floor, the post player coming in and doubling, they caused a turnover, got a steal. This is something we saw last week with Tennessee when it came from the high side of the floor. Brittany Griner does a terrific job just drop-stepping away from where that double is coming from. She was fairly effective. 9 points, 4 boards, 3 blocks. It's the other players around her who have got to be as productive offensively because Connecticut is too good between Tina Charles and Maya Moore.
Maya Moore with 21 to lead all scorers at halftime. And Connecticut opens up with the basketball. Trying to get it underneath for Green, and she'll bank into a very well-run play.
Now, just another example of where Tina Charles is demanding the attention of Brittany Griner. They overload that side of the floor. Green is a terrific athlete. They sneak her along the baseline. Tina becomes the screener.
Baylor has to look out for and perhaps dread like a 13-2 run by Connecticut to open the second half. It's happened to so many opponents during this 76-game winning streak. Griner dumps off for Medlock. Working on Moore. Tried to squeeze in there. Beautiful shot.
Yeah, again, this is the senior. Doesn't want her college career to come to an end. She has really been in focus.
Jones stepping up, looking for the depth. Gets it. Here's Griffin. Charles trying to catch her from behind, but won't.
We've got a fiery competitor, a national champion, and it was interesting at practice. The first 4 things Connecticut discussed in their practice were the first 4 counters Baylor went over. It was almost as if that coaching staff was in Connecticut's practice.
Hayes off the fake, gets herself open, can't hit. Baylor rebounds. Gino Auriemma in search of a 7th national championship. But up against something new in Brittany Griner. Nice turnaround there by Morgan Medlock.
A nice response from a young team. Morgan Medlock, the senior. She and Jones, the 2 most experienced players in a Baylor uniform.
So Baylor cuts into the lead instead of UConn expanding the lead in the opening moments of the second half. Hayes, an ugly-looking shot. And a foul. Maya Moore is hit in the rebounding fray.
You've got to be able to keep pace. I think the number is 70 that you've got to put up to beat Connecticut. Some toughness on the defensive end leads to a transition opportunity, and Kelly Griffin makes it happen. How about the nice spin move? Make Maya Moore work on the defensive end of the floor. Make yourself a factor.
Medlock just collected her second foul. And Connecticut to set it up. 37-0. They've won their first 4 games in this tournament by an average of 47 points. This one's tightening up, though.
Shanae Washington again drawing the assignment of Maya Moore.
Moore, a 3. Just grazed the iron. She chases down her own rebound. Charles in tight. No. Griner batted away that ball and kept it alive for Baylor.
Boy, she wasn't even going against Griner. You don't see Tina not finish those this season.
Griner, yes, in close. Gino wants a timeout. And it's Baylor firing on all cylinders out of halftime, Doris.
No, they have closed on teams with more experience in their last 2 games. Brittany Griner, turnaround jump shot. The competitor on the sideline, Kim Mulkey, loving it.
Less than 3 minutes into the second half, and Baylor slices 6 points off that lead. Let's go to Rebecca.
Guys, Coach Auriemma really fired up. He met his team out on the court, never let them sit down, and the whole time he was just yelling at them, primarily at Maya Moore and Tina Charles. I couldn't hear what he was saying because I was behind him, but I could see the eyes of his players all fixed on him. And when he was yelling at them, at times they were kind of just shaking their heads. Earlier this season, Kalena Green told me everything in practice is a competition. Sometimes it's us against the opponent. Sometimes it's us against ourselves. Many times it's us against Coach Auriemma. They want to prove him wrong, and I have a feeling that's what they're going to try to do these next couple minutes, guys.
Thanks, Rebecca. Baylor on an 8-0 run against the #1 team in the country. Green in the corner. That clangs away off the side.
I think that's the diamond in one, though Kim didn't want to term it that exact, playing them a little bit of a zone, and it's going to be up to some other players. They're going to try to make it be up to other players and Maya Moore to beat them.
Griner, no. Moore with the weak side rebound. Hayes to penetrate, slashing in. Knocked away and Jones controls. Baylor to run. They have a 3-on-2. Jones leans in for the bucket. A 5-point game.
Great toughness, great resiliency from a team that you mentioned, Dave. Gets an awful lot of its minutes in production from the underclass.
51% of their scoring coming in from the freshman class. Here's Doty. No. Rebound battled for, and it's off of Connecticut. Off the fingertips of green. How about this second half start for the Baylor Lady Bears?
Remember what we told you. Connecticut has trailed for 0.2% of the time in the second half. Just 3 minutes and 37 seconds. If you're Baylor, you're playing with house money. Put some pressure on them. Tie it up. Get the lead if you can.
Griner doubled up. An errant pass and a foul here against Connecticut. With 15:47 to go. Hayes hitting the deck, but committing the foul. 41-36.
Now you've got to start making some stops on the defensive end. These are the best two defensive teams in the country. If you're Maya Moore, you're pointing at Caroline Doty. Pick her up, but you're a little bit closer. And Baylor hanging tough.
UConn led by 13 at half. The lead has been cut down to 5. This is nothing unique in this tournament for Baylor, though, Doris. Second half runs have become part of what they are.
Against more experienced teams, including the #1 seed Tennessee, a 27-7 close over the final 7:38, and the Duke #2 seed 13-2 in the final 4:18.
Let's check in with Holly.
With each huddle, Kim Mulkey is breeding confidence into this young group. This time she was screaming, "You run and you run and you run." My gosh, how could somebody make the almighty UConn work? We're finally making them have to work for something. You just keep running. Tina Charles is tired and she can't guard Brittany. Let's get it to the big girl.
They tried to there, but Moore steps in and picks it off. Maya Moore, the All-American, with the theft. Farris going around the back. Moore is open. She'll try a three, but that didn't touch a thing. Somewhat deflating, certainly, for Connecticut. Maya Moore with 21, nothing in the second half yet.
Yeah, make no mistake, Kim Mulkey is passionate, she's fiery, and this team says that they take great energy and strength from her presence on the sideline.
Kelly Griffin, the point guard. Around the screen by Medlock. Griner working hard on Charles to get open on the block. Medlock with a catch, finds an opening. Blocked, but a foul by Charles, and she can't believe it. She thought she got it clean.
Now, Baylor has started this half 5 for 6 from the field. No turnovers after 11 in the first half, including 6 amongst their freshmen. Does she get a piece? Maya Moore has a reason to be upset. But those are the kinds of things you've got to absorb when things aren't going well.
Tina Charles, by the way, picking up her second foul. Medlock with another one coming. Baylor with a big advantage at the foul line.
And how about this, Dave? 220-plus opponents have not shot 50% against the Huskies. Guess where Baylor is for the game? 50% shooting.
Well, Baylor obviously has their supporters as Moore is hit from behind and fouled. But they're getting those on the fence. The Stanford supporters, perhaps, and even some of the lingering Oklahoma supporters on their side. The foul will go against Nene Hayden, #1. Tina Charles. Moore off the fake. Gets her shot up. Blocked by Griner. Charles picks it off and lays it in.
Yeah, that's because Brittany Griner does a terrific job covering so much area, getting the block shot. It's up to the other black jerseys to get that rebound or get that block shot attempt corralled. Kim Mulkey said that at shoot-around this morning.
Can't stand around and watch. As amazing as Griner can be at times. Sometimes her team gets caught. Here's Hayden. Rebound tip back out to her. You're seeing great effort out of Baylor since halftime. Yeah. Terrific effort.
No question.
Under 14 left. Hayden working on Doty to the baseline. No. Rebound for Charles. Hayden went sprawling on the deck. Doty penetrates. Rebounded away by Medlock.
She had to go to the offensive offside of the basket because she knew if she didn't, Baylor would have sent that back.
Hayden drives the lane. No. UConn with the board.
Morgan Medlock is flat tired right now. She was so slow up the floor.
Green. Charles tears away the rebound. Blocked by Griner. Gino Auriemma is incensed. Oriema livid.
Well, we get the benefit of the second look. She beats her to the spot. They feel like there's a body. I'm not sure there's a foul there. In fact, I don't think so
either. Charles backing down on Griner. Yes! Tina Charles just named the U.S. Basketball Writers National Player of the Year. Bumps the lead to 45-38.
We've seen her go to the right hook. In that particular instance, Tina went into her chest but used the left hand.
Griner wants it again. Draws the foul with 12:50 on the clock.
Tina Charles has had a couple of baskets here in answer. One off the block shot. This one on a straight-up post-up. Uses the power dribble left. Goes right into the chest of Brittany Griner and tries to use the rim to help her score.
Caroline Doty with her third foul and Griner to shoot.
I thought Kelly Ferris, when she came into the basketball game in the first half, did a good job in Doty's absence. In this particular instance, she is in for Hayes, not Doty.
Griner trying to get it back to 5. 45-40. There are going to be a lot of players on this court absolutely exhausted when this one ends. Charles zips the pass for Green. Griner made her change the shot. Doty inside the foul line, blocked and fouled against the Baylor Bears.
A 6'8" with tremendous footwork and athleticism. She is going to change an awful lot of your shots. This time, Kalena Green attacks the rim, maybe puts it up a little bit higher. It leads to a weak side board by Connecticut.
Foul on Kelly Griffin moments ago. Quick off the inbounds. More off the window. Give her 23.
Terrific execution. See, they can score it. It's going to be hard, and sometimes they might struggle, but they're going to continue to produce. You have to continue to produce. Nice job by Morgan Medlock to make Maya War work on the defensive end of the floor.
Washington, the airborne pass and threw it away. Moore with the pick. Doty settles for the 3. And a quick shot by her. It's tipped out. It'll go the other way and be Baylor basketball with 12 minutes left in this national semifinal. And Nene Hayden coming on. Griner has not sat in this game.
She begged for a little bit of relief in the first half. One of the hardest things for a freshman to do, fight through that fatigue. Understand there's another level that you may not be aware you have.
Griner comes out for a high look. It's Hayden. Griner back in against Charles. The shot by Griffin. Can't bury it. Moore leading the attack now for the Huskies. She will front rim that one, but another effort thanks to Ferris. And a great look for Green underneath. Maya Moore with a terrific pass.
Pressure to score, Baylor. You're fighting hard at every position. Can you score enough to win?
Long time without a field goal, and that doesn't come to an end on that trip.
I'll tell you what, you got a lot of tired bodies. These players are working so hard, but look at it, the pressure again. It's easy for UConn to score because Baylor is flat tired. Kim knows it needs a timeout.
25 for Maya Moore. Timeout Baylor.
They are drop dead exhausted. I'll tell you, there's tiredness on both sides, but right now, because Connecticut's more experienced, they're able to fight through their fatigue a little bit better.
Have we seen their best shot? That's the question.
No, they're gonna come back. Their coach will make them respond. But right now, everything at the cup because Connecticut is just keeping the pressure on with their ability to score it from different positions.
So Connecticut bumps it back to 11. Stanford is already in. Nneka Ogwumike with a sensational performance. In fact, a record-setting performance against Oklahoma in the first semifinal tonight. 38 points, a scoring record. She was just outstanding.
Now, you want to talk about a player who has emerged on the national stage as a star. She is a tough matchup because she's as good an athlete as there is in the country. That explosive first step, whether she's sealing the defender high or squaring up on the face-up, she's always been a relentless rebounder. She is fast off her feet and, generally speaking, is the player with the best timing. Her touch and arsenal on the offensive end are expanding. How about that little fake to the weak side, Nneka? Go ahead.
Griner. Blocked by Charles. She got her fingertips on it. So the 6'4 Charles rejecting the 6'8 Griner. And now Connecticut has the momentum swung in their favor because Maya Moore is cooking again. Give her 27. Just like that, it's back to 13, which was the halftime. Hayden dribbling in, and it rolls off the iron. Griner stripped but fouled. They may get Doty on this one with 10-11 to go. So Connecticut back in front, 53-40. Connecticut on top, 53-40. And now our Capital One game track, Brittany Griner with 13, 5, and 5. But Maya Moore just out hustling everybody for those 27.
Now you have to be able to fight through fatigue. These two teams are playing as hard as any two teams we have seen compete. Maya Moore's tired. They are going after one another, but she flat beats Morgan Medlock up the floor. Gets position on Kamitri Hayden. Look at Brittany Griner and Morgan Medlock. Their hands are down. They're not looking to get Maya Moore and block that shot. Brittany Griner was so tired she didn't even go after that shot. Game experience matters, not necessarily only because it's game situation and understanding pressure. It's about finding that next level in the face of fatigue.
Now before the break, Caroline Doty fouling Brittany Griner and sending her to the line. That's 4 on Doty as Griner misses the first. We check in with Holly Rowe. Holly?
Well, Doris, you must have heard Kim Mulkey in the huddle because just then she looked at Hayden and said, we are pulling close to this team. Don't let their experience run away with this right now.
Griner with another miss. Tipped out. It'll stay right here with 10:09 left in this national semifinal. Griffin trying to get it in. Still trying over the top now. And Hayden with the grab. May not seem like a big deal, but for UConn maybe it is. Playing the second game in a Final Four. It's been great for Connecticut. They're 6-1 when they play in Game 2. They're 0-3 when they play in the first semifinal. Tara Vanderveer told us she likes playing in that first game.
Yeah, it makes for a long day.
Griner the catch. Partially blocked, I think, by Charles, who's been all over in the second half. Green pulls it back. Charles will shoot it. Off the window, too strong. Maybe some signs they're becoming a little leg weary, but not for Madden, the freshman.
That's inexcusable. Now, you know Madden and Hayden are slashers extraordinaire, and their best offense is when they get in transition and get to the rim. You had 3 white jerseys let her go end to end. Nobody steps up, stops the ball. Nobody steps in and takes a charge. That's frustrating as a coach.
I think that's why Gina Auriemma has blasted them a couple of times. The miss by Moore. Charles with a rebound. She had great position underneath Griner.
And she's not worrying about Brittany Griner blocking a shot. Understand that 6'8 is going to send a couple back your way. Attack.
Griner shovels the pass for Jones, and she's traveling with it. As we check in with Rebecca Lobo.
Doris, you mentioned the 3 UConn players getting out of the way. Well, Caroline Doty was one of those. The reason is she has 4 fouls. Earlier this season, she had 4 fouls in a game. The assistant coach is telling Coach Auriemma, get her out of the game. He said, no, I want to let her foul out. She did foul out, came over to the sideline. He said, great players never foul out of games. She's earned that trust in him this season.
That's a terrific point. That's it. Give up a deuce, stay on the floor. You don't want to be on the pine.
Griffin goes right into Moore and commits the foul, plowing into Maya. And it's Griffin who comes up a little bit injured, and her second personal.
Yeah, again, just reacting, retreating, and once the left shoulder went down, I think that's probably where the official blew that whistle.
So UConn ball leading 55-42. And Tiffany Hayes, who's been in foul trouble herself, she has 4 fouls will come back on. Ferris gets it across.
Coach Auriemma calls her maybe his smartest player, Kelly Ferris, and she has played like it, giving them good, solid, smart minutes.
She had 13 points in a win over Temple, followed immediately 16 points against Iowa State. She's played really well in this tournament. You can also see this game on ESPN3.com, formerly known as ESPN360.com, featuring over 3,500 live events. Hayden to the baseline, blocked by Charles. The National Player of the Year had some really fine moments tonight. Hayes will bring it back out, under 8 minutes to go. Of course, for the most part, Maya Moore and Tina Charles have been splitting those National Player of the Year honors. Shot clock at 10. Up top for Doty. Hayes now. They want Charles to touch. The hook shot for 2.
She missed 3 straight in the first half. That exact move. Nice, patient job sticking with it. She's been as much a factor as Brittany Griner with 21 and 12.
And the shot clock dwindling down, no less. Medlock lines it up and hits it. And a timeout, Baylor. 57-44 off the 2 by Medlock.
Now, one of the things that we've talked about all night is going into Brittany Griner, not allowing her space to block shots. She's just standing behind, going to try to use her length. That hook shot is a tough one to contest. And Coach Auriemma, another basket.
So the stars shining for Connecticut. 21 points, 12 rebounds for Charles, 27 points, 11 rebounds for Moore. Tina Charles, 9 out of 17.
I thought one of the most interesting things in the couple of days before this game, Coach Auriemma said, I think the problem that a team might have would be to go in and revamp everything you're doing just to accommodate one individual, meaning Brittany Griner. And he said, I think what that does is tell your team, listen, everything we've done to this point is not good enough. Now we've got to do things differently. And that sends a very bad message. And Coach Auriemma, when you're undefeated and you've got a 76-game win streak, I'd stay with what's working.
Well, Gino is a big fan of San Antonio. This is where Connecticut won the 2002 national title, going 39-0, beating Tennessee and Oklahoma en route. He said yesterday, you win games at this time of year based on whose mind is right.
Yes.
And he thinks his team's mind is right.
Well, just to follow up, and Rebecca made the great point that Doty didn't foul. And I said, Coach, what are you looking for in your players? Shots they don't take, their body language. He said a lot of things. He said, I thought this summer, what could possibly make Caroline Doty underperform in one of the biggest games of the year? And he said her emotions. I mean, to be thinking that far forward speaks to the kind of coach he is.
Or handing off for Doty. He's playing with 4 fouls. Shot clock at 9 for Connecticut. Hayes, a 17-footer. Moore with the rebound. Right back up and fouled. She'll be shooting 2. Brittany Griner trying to slow her down, but easier said than done. Well, back here in San Antonio, where, of course, we remember the Alamo, and inside the Alamo Dome, it's the national semifinal with Connecticut leading by 13. That was their lead at halftime. 6:39 to go in this contest, although Baylor did get it down to 3. Well, the recipient of the Elite 88 Award, the 2010 Women's Basketball Championship, is Lindsey Palmer of Baylor, a 3.952 GPA in psychology. It's presented to the student athlete with the highest cumulative GPA participating in the finals for each of the NCAA's 88 championships.
Yeah, there are very good students, and you think about a Connecticut team that I believe 8 of the 12 are above 3.0 GPAs, and one at the free throw line, a Rhodes Scholar level student. So
that's right,
that's
National
pretty
Academic
impressive.
All-American. Yeah, that's 3.9 for Maya Moore, who likes numbers. And this point number 28. And Doty to the bench right now for Gino Auriemma.
Well, just to continue that story on Caroline Doty, where he said, her emotions could get the best of her. He said, so it's my job to poke and prod and make sure I test those emotions on a daily basis so that she doesn't allow that to impact her in the biggest game of the year.
So it's my job to drive her nuts. Griner. He's coming over to help out. Here's Griffin. That clangs away, but a second effort by Jones. And runs right into Green and commits the offensive foul. A charge on Melissa Jones.
Well, and here's something that Kim Mulkey told us last week when we were in Memphis. As you're going to take a look at the drive and the offensive charge. Excellent team defense. Rotation by Kalena Green. And the reaction by Coach Oriema. He loves that kind of team defense. They are excellent on the help side of the floor. Kim Mulkey said she went to an NBA coach and asked how to coach Brittany Griner, and he told her two things. He said, one, you'll never be more frustrated with officiating, and two, you need to put shooters around her, and that is something that they've got to recruit hard, a number of shooters to put around Brittany Griner.
He's off the fake, blocked by Griner, but a foul there with 5:59 left. Griner, by the way, with only one field goal in the second half. They made a great run right at the top of the second half, cutting the lead to 3 when it was 41-38.
And Holly Rowe was just listening in at the last break, and basically Kim Mulkey challenging Brittany Griner to rebound more, Dave. She's only got 5 boards.
Jordan Madden with the foul. Hayes to the line, 76% there. 4 points. Although it's been a foul-plagued effort for Tiffany. Smooth at the line, and Gino wants a quick timeout. So the lead up to 17. And still waiting for that second Baylor run. They are beginning to run out of time in the Final Four. Maya Moore with 29 to lead all scorers.
Well, the first thing they did, and they did this morning at shoot-around, was a pick and roll. The defender gets hung up even just for a minute, sprinting in transition. We've seen how hard she's run the floor all night long. This is generally where she's sprinting to, the three-point line. This particular spot in particular is where you see her most often in transition. Sort of free throw line, diagonal from the elbow, and extended into three-point range.
So tonight, climbing up the ladder of all-time leading scorers at Connecticut, she has passed Rebecca Lobo, and now one behind Kara Walters as we go to Rebecca.
Well, guys, as well as Maya Moore has been playing, it seems like every time Coach Oriema gets upset and he's in a huddle, it's Maya Moore's fault. When Caroline Doney picked up her 4th foul, it was because Maya let her person dribble by her. When UConn doesn't get a good shot, it's because Maya's not working hard enough to get open. So much for the Coach Oriema letting things go with Maya in this tournament. He has been all over her tonight.
We just saw a 5-second violation. And so Connecticut has the ball under 6 minutes to go. And a kick with 5:54 on the clock. And is it too early, Doris, for Connecticut to start trimming that clock?
Well, I think they'll manage it, certainly. I think that unless they get a layup in transition or a wide-open Maya 3, other than that, probably.
That's going to be a foul against Maya Moore.
Is it Maya or the illegal screen on Tina?
Might have been. You're right. It is on Tina Charles.
Does she lean?
Yep, that'll be her 3rd ticky-tack.
I'm just not sure she didn't get the worst end of that. I wasn't sure she was leaning that much.
61-44. Medlock jumps in close, swatted away by Maya. She's doing everything tonight, looking for another block. And instead, the rebound by Tina Charles. Boy, the big two for Connecticut are playing great.
Yeah, that might be the area where I think officiating in women's college basketball has really grown. They don't blow the whistle on every block shot. They're understanding that increasingly athleticism is dictating the outcome, and they're waiting. They're holding that whistle to see if, in fact, any contact occurs.
Moore attacks and draws the contact. Foul with 5:07 to go. ESPN and ESPN2 pitching 3 Major League games on opening day Monday. At 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN, it's the Cardinals and the Reds. At 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2, the Indians and the White Sox. And then it's the Atlanta Braves and the Chicago Cubs. At 4 o'clock Eastern, opening day presented by Dick's Sporting Goods.
4 fouls now on Melissa Jones.
Jones, the junior, in deep trouble, deep into the game. Moore in search of her 30th point. And misfires. Griner just takes that rebound away. Well, Baylor has been going on long runs throughout this tournament. But have we seen their best shot? Griner with an errant pass on the baseline, trying to bounce for Griffin, threw it away.
I said coming into tonight, I thought Baylor's major challenge, and Kim Mulkey's team, it's been a problem all year, generating enough points. You've got 44 points on the board against a team that is just so efficient and balanced on the offensive end on most nights. Now, it's been dominated by Tina and Maya tonight.
Baylor's turned it over 18 times this evening. Stanford is already into the national final. They knocked off Oklahoma. A great late surge by the Sooners, but the Cardinal hung on. And a whistle here with 4:24 to go. They took the shot clock down to 7 before that. And a foul on Griner will be her third. 1-and-1 time for Tina Charles, a 70% foul shooter. Tina was last year's Final Four outstanding player. She's had a very solid night tonight with 21 and 13. Connecticut with another clock. Look at this.
Yeah, Maya Moore, just a terrific athletic play.
And so now they can continue to whittle down that clock. Backdoor cut by Moore. Airborne, got the pass away somehow off the save.
Boy, did she have control of it? Denise Brooks signaling that she never had control. It looked like a travel.
Hayes strips and another whistle. We have a timeout. Connecticut on top 61-44, closing in on Tuesday night. Back inside the Alamo Dome, it is 61-44 Connecticut leading Baylor. Tara Vanderveer talked to us earlier about Stanford's 2008 Final Four win over UConn.
It was just such great team chemistry, team camaraderie. Maybe we weren't the fastest team or the quickest team, but we played hard for each other. And in that particular game, we didn't back down. Our team believed. That was probably the key, was the confidence that people had and just the free way we were able to play. We didn't have the pressure on us. Our team at that point, to go that far, would do whatever it took because they wanted to win so badly.
The last team to defeat Connecticut. Now, the time they met earlier this year, back in December, Stanford led at the half. The only game UConn trailed at half during this 76-game winning streak.
Yeah, 40-39, eventual advantage on the glass by Connecticut, including 17-6 on the offensive end. Stanford in that Final Four went on to lose to Pat Summitt's team. And Pat got national title number 8.
Tiffany Hayes at the line. Connecticut so far tonight 61 points, but 50 of those points have come from Moore and Charles.
Boy, how many consecutive free throws have they missed? Maya's missed 2. This is number 4 straight. Does she end that? Yes.
You wonder, too, if Stanford had not played Duke and Tennessee and won those games in the week leading up to Connecticut, if that game would have been any different. Jones with a quick strike for Baylor. Trying to put pressure on the ball here.
Well, you wonder, why did Connecticut come with pressure? Because you've got 2 players on the floor, and Madden, who can get off the dribble drive. And Jones can do it as well.
3:27 left. Is that all that is left in the season of the Baylor Lady Bears? Been a special year. Backdoor cut. Moore can't find the range. Still sitting on 29 points. Jones trying to hustle it up, and she's held and fouled.
Terrific scout defense. I mean, that is a 1-4 set across the high free throw line. And a read by Maya Moore where she tries to bait you out. And it's been run with great success for Connecticut all year long. But that was well scouted and well defended by Baylor.
Griffin to the bench. And Madden, the freshman, coming on with Jones to the line. Melissa hitting 82% there. She has 7 points. Jones missing long stretches of the season because of a stress reaction in her right leg, but playing a lot of minutes, a ton of minutes in this tournament. She's played 36, 40, 33, and 36 minutes.
Yep, Kim basically, I think, conceded the early part of the Big 12 tournament so that she could go those kinds of minutes. She knew if I could get into the tournament, we could make a run.
Fast approaching the 3-minute mark. UConn on top, 62-47. They appear to be on a collision course with Stanford again for the national championship on Tuesday night. And we'll have it for you on ESPN. Farris with the spin. The bounce pass. Green gets tied up. 6 to shoot. Hayes will look at the clock but can't knock it down. Madden. Really fine defense there by Farris, who would not give quarter there. 62-47.
I tell you what, that young woman plays hard, Kelly Farris, and she plays smart. Just sprinted end to end, made herself a factor, challenged that dribble driver.
20 turnovers for Baylor. Over the top, Moore with a catch, and she goes. 2 more. 31 for Maya Moore. And a turnover.
Yeah, man, she is responsible for that turnover. Extra possessions Maya's creating.
And listen to the Connecticut faithful as they anticipate yet another trip to a national championship game.
Yeah, and this is, Dino makes that signal where he twirls his finger in the air. They've got great spacing, generally speaking, with this set.
Moore, pretty, again.
She found her rhythm again, folks.
14 out of 26. Jones missing long range.
And what a great experience. Baylor is not going to win this game, but they played with house money, arriving at the Final Four maybe, just maybe, a year early. They compete incredibly hard. Terrific competitors under Kim Mulkey. And folks, they're going to be good for a while. As she said, get me this year because I'm going to be good next year.
Now 5 fouls on Melissa Jones, so the junior has fouled out. Brittany Griner tonight has been tested, certainly. Almost 19 points a game, 9 rebounds. And the NCAA single-season shot block record.
Yeah, she was not a member of the 10-team State Farm All-America team. And in all likelihood, the coaches kept her off because of the punch. The voting ensued in very near proximity to that. But I think she earned the right to be on there. The disciplinary action was taken by the NCAA, by the Big 12, and by Baylor University. And Brittany Griner was one of the best 10 players in America and deserved to be on it.
13.6 rebounds for the freshman tonight, as Maya Moore has 34 points. Nneka Ogwumike was brilliant for Stanford in the first game. As Stanford knocked off Oklahoma, she had 38. What a matchup that's going to be on Tuesday night here inside the Alamo Dome. Just the way it ought to be. The number 1 and number 2 teams in the country as Hayden lofts a 3. So it's a 17-point deficit and another foul as Hayes spins to the deck. We'll see if Tiffany Hayes can get up quickly here.
There's so much anticipation around that December 23rd matchup. I mean, the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country, the streak for Connecticut builds tonight. But if not for Coach Jorium and the Huskies, Connecticut would have Stanford would have a fairly impressive streak of their own going.
Hayes to shoot and can't hit the first one. Well, Baylor trailed by 13 points at the half, pulled to within 3 with a terrific run in the opening minutes of the second half. But then Connecticut simply found that extra gear they have and ran right by them. And a lead up to 18 again.
Hayes had 16 points in that matchup against Stanford. I didn't think she played especially well. She had the attacking drives early, which I thought set the tone for Connecticut. But then there were times in that second half where I thought her drives were out of control. She's got to do a better job in the national championship on Tuesday night.
Next on ESPN Sports Center, Hayden cannot hit. 51 seconds left. So Connecticut about to go to 38-0. And get this, since the 2000 season, 51-5 in the NCAA tournament. Of course, you can read those numbers all night long. Connecticut, such remarkable success. A turnover on a travel here. And now for tonight's player of the game, brought to you by Coke Zero. It is Maya Moore, who was devastating in the first half. 21 points, 12 rebounds in the ball game, 21 in the first half, and 34 points.
Just unbelievable speed, the strides, the layout, George Gervin-esque as she attacks the tin. And look at how hard she comes off the cuts. Feels where Brittany Griner is, spins the opposite direction. Kim Mulkey told Holly Rowe at the half, she just scores so effortlessly. You're sending any defender you can, and it doesn't matter.
Kylie McLaren getting in now for Gina Auriemma, as is Megan Gardler. And Lauren Dixon here played a little bit in the first half. Heather Buck, who's also been troubled by a little bit of a stomach flu, gets in. So Gino going to his bench here in the final moments of this Final Four matchup. And we are about to turn the page on it as Griffin misses everything. And all eyes now on the national championship game Tuesday night here in San Antonio. Maya and Tina and the Huskies about to take on the Stanford Cardinal, who are loaded and talented as well. So for Connecticut, it's 77 consecutive wins. And on Tuesday night, the Huskies play for a 7th national championship.
Looked like they were going to be pressured here in the second half by a Baylor team that put a run on them out of the gates in the second half. But as they have for 77 straight games, they met yet another challenge and advanced to a national championship game again.
So Brittany Griner, the youngster, did what she could. You're going to hear a lot about her. And Gina Auriemma with some extended time. Nice moment there. I'm sure praising Brittany Griner and her effort tonight. 70-50 the final score. And that is the championship game that I think everyone was looking forward to. Stanford, a #1 seed, and Connecticut, #1 in the country. So join us on Tuesday night at 8:30 for the title as we go to Rebecca Lobo.
Maya, you have been outstanding offensively this entire tournament. How have you stayed in this zone?
I'm just trying to be aggressive. Tonight, I took a few questionable shots, but, my teammates kept having confidence in me, and I just want to play so hard for them and to come through for them, and they always believe in me, and I'm just trying to be aggressive.
What are your thoughts on being one game away from your 2nd national championship?
I'm so excited. It's so that's what we work for all season. I'm almost speechless. It doesn't get old at all, and we've worked so hard, just starting from preseason, and just everybody just coming through for each other this season. I'm excited, and we're playing a really good Stanford team.
All right, Maya, thank you. Coach, Baylor made a run, cut it to 5 early in the second half. What was the difference for your team when you were able to pull away?
I thought we got some really big stops, which were really key, and we started to score. We were calm, like we lost our composure there for a while, and Maya made obviously some huge shots. I think there's a certain toughness that we have as a team. You don't always get a chance to see it, but I think we saw some of it tonight.
Stanford, the only team to have a lead on you at the half this season, and it's the matchup everyone's been waiting for since that game. What are the difficult parts of facing Stanford on Tuesday?
Well, they just have so many good offensive players. I mean, I think Nneka Ogwumike is probably playing as well as anybody in the country right now, and they've got the experience factor, and they're just a well-disciplined, they execute great on offense, and you got to guard every spot. So, can I think about that tomorrow morning?
I'll let you think about that tomorrow, but tonight I want you to tell us what you said to Brittany Griner when you were going through the lines.
I just told her congratulations, and I think she's going to be a great player down the road, and maybe I'll get a chance to coach her someday.
All right, Coach, thank you. Dave, obviously the coach of the 2012 Olympic team right here.